Previously on Lost.
What's going on? What are you doing? Jay?
What's happening?
I don't know what's going on. This doesn't look like a cookout.
No. Oh my God, they have weapons.
Is this the end for half in the bag?
Were you talking to me?
What?
We better run!
Come with me if you want to live.
Half in the bag. Me underwears.
Hey, thanks for helping us out back there.
Yeah, we really appreciate it.
Yeah.
I think those guys were gonna kill us.
Yeah, it's really no big deal. Yeah, believe it or not, that kind of thing happens to me all the time on my lunch break.
Really?
What?
You guys are free to hang out here in the back of my comic book shop. You know, just till the heat dies down.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, we would appreciate that.
Yeah, that's great.
Is there anything around here we could read or do?
Oh, you know, I've got a copy of the new Amazing Spider-Man film.
You mean the one that's in the theaters now?
Oh yeah, I've got a camera up of it.
Oh, is it on your computer out there or iPads?
Oh
Something
God,
like that?
no. I've got it on Betacam. Yeah. Not like that digital shit. Yeah, it wasn't very easy smuggling in a 75-pound camera into the movie theater, but I just slapped a coat on it, passed it off as my retarded child. Worked like a charm.
So, Jay, what do you say? Do you want to watch The Amazing Spider-Man with this weird guy?
It's better than killing myself.
I just did 80% of your job. That's how you would pay me? Huh?
Well, that was that. Hey, why did we stand here and watch the movie? It was 2.5 hours long.
Well, to be fair, it only felt like 5 hours.
Yeah.
Oh, shit. You know, if you're gonna steal cars, don't dress like a car thief. You found my weakness. It's small knives.
The Amazing Spider-Man is the new reboot, reimagining, remake thing about Spider-Man, most recently directed by Sam Raimi. This version, however, is directed by some guy named Mark Webb.
Who are you talking to?
Be quiet, he's doing his intro. Please continue.
The Amazing Spider-Man tells the story we've seen already, except this time with a lizard instead of a man in a plastic Halloween mask. The plot was clearly stolen from the 1971 film Zat, as the lizard wants to turn humans into his own kind, for either superiority reasons or lack of an arm complex, or something. Spider-Man must stop him, I guess. So between the three of us here, Rich, I think you're the only one that has a lot of history with Spider-Man. What is your past experiences with Spider-Man?
Oh, I've been a huge Spider-Man fan probably since I was 15, and Marvel doesn't want me to be a Spider-Man fan. They keep telling me to go fuck myself. They don't like me. They want little kids to read the books, and I can go fuck myself. It's like the opposite of Batman.
But would you consider yourself like a Spider-Man expert?
I guess, sure.
You would. You'd
sure.
go pretty close to that.
Like,
Okay.
old school Spider-Man expert. I'm very out of the loop at this point.
You don't watch like the kiddie cartoon shows?
No, I haven't been buying the books for like the better part of a decade now.
Oh, wow.
So.
Okay. Well, I think it's only fair that we ask Rich first what he thought of the movie. So, Rich, what did you think of The Amazing Spider-Man?
Better luck next time?
Oh, no.
That's a good way to put it.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
would say Sam Raimi, FTW.
I gotta say, all right, I'll say this. Before this movie, I think it's come up before that I wasn't the biggest fan of the Sam Raimi Spider-Mans. I now have a new appreciation for the Sam Raimi Spider-Mans.
Well, I would say that the tone of the movie is one of the biggest problems, because it is played a little more straight, a little more realistically, but that makes things like a giant lizard monster stand out even more than it would in the Sam Raimi universe.
To say the least, tone and inconsistency is the problem with this movie. That's the main thing.
Yeah.
Because it goes from very serious dramatic moments to kind of really bizarre kind of attempts at comedy.
An attempt at being lighthearted. There's that part when they're playing basketball and he's playing basketball after he's gained his Spidey powers.
Yeah.
And there's like fun music playing, and it's like, when did this become a comedy all of a sudden?
Well, the one scene that sticks out to me that was a groaner scene, and I noticed you groaned when we watched it on your television over there.
Yeah.
Was when Spider-Man, or whatever his name, Peter
Parker.
Is that it?
Yes.
He goes into the police station and he's trying to convince Dennis Leary that there's a lizard running around. And it reminded me of that scene from Gremlins when Zach goes into the police station and the police are just drunk and they're like,
they're making fun of him.
Little monsters. And he's like, there's a giant lizard running around New York City. I'm like,
But you would have me believe that he, in his spare time, is running around dressed up like a giant dinosaur.
Not dressing up and not a dinosaur. He has transformed himself into a giant lizard.
and it sounds ridiculous saying there's a giant lizard running around the city. So it's like they didn't know how to handle that particular material. The concept of a lizard man running around is schlocky and silly and stupid. But then they have that counterbalanced with serious dramatic relationship, parents dead, girlfriend, blah, blah, blah. So it's like those two elements should not be in the same movie. And that scene was when they had to work together.
I've made enemies. Powerful enemies. I've put those I love in danger. But the one thing that has haunted me my entire life is finding the truth about my parents.
I try to just watch the movie and sort of keep whatever is outside the movie out of it. Just watch the movie. This one, it was almost impossible to do that with, one, because the Sam Raimi movies are still popular, they're still fresh in people's minds, they're not that old, and two, all the politics behind why this movie was made. It's almost impossible to look at it as a movie that anyone even wanted to make.
Right.
It just comes across like something that was made to keep Spider-Man in people's minds and keep a franchise alive and then move on.
Yeah.
Like, that's all it feels like.
Would you say that this movie portrayed Spider-Man more accurately than the Sam Raimi one? Which one did?
In costume, with the quips, this movie was probably a bit more accurate. The jokey Spider-Man, that was kind of what they did with this.
Okay.
As far as Peter Parker, I don't think either of them really get it quite right. Though this is one of those things where I'm probably too big a fan. There's probably no actor they could ever find that would really satisfy me in that role.
What about Ben Affleck?
What about Burgess Meredith?
Maybe.
Well, I remember when we talked about the Fright Night remake, and I was saying how everything they changed to sort of justify doing a remake was for the worse, and I kind of feel the exact same way about this. The Uncle Ben getting killed thing was completely it just happened and glossed over, and it didn't affect Spider-Man as a character really at all for the rest of the movie.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, he's gone, and then the movie just keeps going. It had no sort of impact or any kind of weight to it.
Yeah, I remember that being the most exciting moment in the Sam Raimi one.
Yeah.
Not when Uncle Ben gets killed, but when, like Peter Parker's there, Uncle Ben's dead, and you hear like the police radio. It's like, we got him on the run. He's on, and then it's like, and he puts his mask on.
It's good stuff.
And
it's
he
good
goes
filmmaking.
after him right then and there.
It's effective filmmaking.
Was it distracting to you that Uncle Ben and Aunt May were Sally Field and Martin Sheen?
Yes.
Yeah.
But then, so the first hour or so of the movie is basically the exact same beats from the Sam Raimi one.
Pretty much, in different order.
Minor variations, but less effective, I would say.
Like the Sam Raimi one, too. The first half of the movie, where he gets the powers and he's learning how to use the powers and he's accidentally smashing the alarm clock. And Sam Raimi kind of did that too, where he doesn't know how to use his powers yet.
Yeah.
Those are the best parts of both two movies. And then in both movies, they introduce the lame supervillain plot, and the movies instantly go downhill.
Yep.
Well, same in both movies.
It's the superhero origin problem that we've discussed before. It's whenever they establish him as the hero, once that's in place, the movie just goes,
Yeah.
Well, because the interesting part is learning to be a hero.
Yeah, exactly.
I did like the way the crime fighting evolved in this one.
Yeah.
It was that was a different take where it started off as just like the revenge thing. I'm going to get the one guy, and then it wasn't like a sudden shift. Like now I'm going to be a superhero, protect the city. It was now I'm going to get the mask.
Yeah.
Well, now I'm going to get the web shooters.
It took its time a little more
Yeah.
developing how he becomes Spider-Man.
Yeah, well, we were discussing earlier the sequence where you were talking about the sequence where he builds his costume in this.
I saw that, and he sees the wrestler mask, and then he goes home, and they kind of show him putting it together over his shoulder, and then all of a sudden he has it. And I was like, hey, neat. He's going to make that Spider-Man costume. And I thought for a second he was going to knit his Spider-Man costume, maybe make it out of like the web material, something super strong and durable.
Yeah.
Because in the Tobey Maguire version and this one, it's like this high school kid who lives in his aunt's house, and all of a sudden he's got this movie quality costume out of nowhere. So I thought they were going to show him like knitting the costume together like a spider would knit a web.
Yeah.
Like he could hang in the corner of his room and hang upside down and go with like threads and needles and like show the leg come out and like he made it like a spider made it.
Yeah.
I was like, that's gonna be great when oh, it didn't happen.
No. He just has a cheap looking mask, and then a couple scenes later he has the full costume.
Yeah.
And what I was saying was that's easier to accept in the Sam Raimi version because it's a little more fantastical, a little more unrealistic.
Yeah.
So you're just like, okay, I guess he has a Spider-Man costume now. But
Yeah.
in this one, where it's played relatively serious and more realistic,
Yeah.
it's less believable that he would just have this great costume.
So Rich Evans. And everything I know about Spider-Man, all the villains are a good-natured, good-hearted scientist who gets sucked into his own creation, goes crazy, and then dies at the end. Why is every villain like that?
Because you have one man who wrote all these stories, and I think Stan Lee just has a fondness for Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. That's to the best of my knowledge. That's why it's just Stan Lee. That's what he likes. Well, Spider-Man doesn't really. I don't think he has. A lot of people say the Green Goblin is his arch nemesis. I don't think Spider-Man has a great arch nemesis. The Green Goblin's motives to me have always been pretty weak. It's always been, I'm going to get you, Spider-Man, because you beat me. There's nothing really like personal about him.
It's not bad.
Other than Spider-Man beat him. It's not like the Batman and Joker where they're just completely contrasting ideologies. It's like anarchy versus order. It doesn't really. There's nothing. Spider-Man doesn't have anything comparable to that. It's just this guy's a bad guy. I got to fight him now.
Well, this movie certainly captures that.
I gotta stop him.
Do you think what happened to you, Peter, was an accident? Do you have any idea?
The thrust of the drama in the Spider-Man comic books hasn't been the villains. They're just obstacles. It's always been how his personal life is affected by him being Spider-Man. That's where the drama comes from.
Yeah, and that's why I like Spider-Man 2 so much. I mean, I think that's the best Spider-Man movie. Would you agree as a Spider-Man guy? Spider-Man 2?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's because that whole movie is just personal shit being piled on top of other things. And
the comic books are built like a soap opera.
Okay. You never get a sense for who Peter Parker is in this. You never get a sense of what the villain really wants or what he's after, other than...
He's gonna make everybody listen.
I'm sad about my stumpy arm. It sucks I have a stumpy arm. Every line of dialogue is about my stumpy arm. Oh, I turn into a lizard monster, now I want to take over the city.
Also, Peter Parker was a retard because I was frustrated with him when after a lizard man is smashing a bridge up, and after just having a scene with Dr. Connors about regenerating limbs and turning humans into hybrid DNA, he goes, I got some questions about lizards and smashing things. And then finally at the end of the scene, he's like, I don't know why you're so interested in lizards. And he's got like scales on his, and Peter Parker's like, oh. It's like, I would have even gone to Oscorp. Who else would turn out a lizard monster?
You sure about that?
I'm pretty sure.
What are you reading?
Oh, this is the new issue of Geek Magazine.
Oh,
It has Spider-Man on the cover.
I see that.
Yeah, there's an interview with director Mark Webb. Did they pick him because his last name is Webb? So there's some quotes in here. I will read to you.
Okay.
I think this is by one of the producers. On the ending. I can't tell you the final reason, but I think when you walk out of the theater, it leaves you with a provocative ending. You've never seen anything like it or felt anything like it in a superhero movie. It defies traditional storytelling in the end, and I'm really proud of it.
You mean like entirely different, like the first Spider-Man movie?
You haven't seen something like this in a superhero movie. The authenticity and intensity of that relationship is something that's very unique.
Did Are they interviewing Pinocchio?
Oh my God, he says 3D 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 times in this paragraph.
3D, 3D, 3D. This movie's in 3D. 3D's great. You
Well,
should see this movie.
it's the producer. It's the Rick McCullum syndrome.
Yeah.
Everything's great about this movie. Everything. It's their job. It's their job to lie.
I guess.
I know that sounds like an easy one, but I feel very strongly about the use of 3D in our film. There are movies that are meant to be in 3D, and then there are movies that are not meant to be in 3D. We shot our movie in 3D, and we choreographed it in 3D, and it was meant to be made in 3D. That's what separates us from so many 3D movies people have seen in 3D.
You added some of those 3D.
I did not!
Oh my lord.
In simplest terms, it was a jumbled mess.
Yeah.
And it was a rehash of the I'm going to spread gas all over the city, the magical gas that does bad things.
Yeah.
And you got
That's
to
a
stop
staple
me.
of these movies.
They've been doing that since '89.
Yeah.
You can call me Joker.
Speaking of Batman, I'm now remembering that Batman Begins also has a plot where the bad guy wants to spray gas all over the city.
I'm sure that's just a huge coincidence.
How many comic book movies have to end with the bad guy wanting to spread a gas or a chemical agent all over the city to do something to all the citizens? Let's figure that out.
Do you seriously want a list of the original Batman, the '89 one?
Okay, the Joker,
wants to spray the laughing gas everywhere.
Okay, Batman Begins.
Batman Begins.
Liam Neeson wants to spray the gas all over.
Hallucinogenic
Fear gas.
Yeah. There's also the original X-Men movie from 1999. Magneto was going to do something on the Statue of Liberty that infected all the dignitaries or turned them all into mutants. So we've got number 3. There's this movie, The Amazing Spider-Man.
What happened in Blank Man? Did they do that in Blank Man? Just one other dumb minor point I want to bring up about the gas plot. Why was that like a hyper complicated machine? It was like, it was a secret invention and we could never use it, it was too dangerous. It's a fucking mortar. They could have done that in World War II. I mean, he brings it up in the building and it's like charging up. It's charging 2 minutes to detonation.
Yeah.
And just shoots it up in the air and it explodes.
It's a science thing.
Why couldn't he just push a button and the chemical went up and exploded? What did it have to charge for 2 minutes for?
Dispersing a complicated gas is complicated.
He should have put it in a little squirt bottle like Zach and just gone around and squirted people. Yeah. Well, how do you feel about the portrayal of Gwen Stacy in this movie? Because I know nothing about Gwen Stacy. I know Mary Jane just based on the other movies.
Gwen Stacy in the comic books was just kind of a fairly generic love interest. I was never a huge Gwen Stacy fan.
So they captured that great in this movie.
They captured that great in this movie, yeah. Yeah.
I think Emma Stone, is that her name?
Yeah.
I think she's a fine actress. She just looks a little too much like Lindsay Lohan.
See, I don't see that at all.
They look exactly alike.
I
and
disagree.
You are stupid.
I disagree completely.
Watch this.
Well, I know you are a fan of Kirsten Dunst.
Oh yeah, I really liked her in the Spider-Man films and in all films I've seen her in. It's safe to say that I am sexually attracted to Kirsten Dunst. I want to stick my Dunst in Kirsten's Kunst. I want to give it to her Pavlov's doggy style. I'll ring her bell till she salivates. I want to fuck her till she's sick. Give her melancholia. There's like a thing on melancholia.
I don't even know who you are anymore.
I don't even know who you are at all. I mean, really, I just met you two.
So there is no J. Jonah Jameson. Uncle Ben and Aunt May are played by 2 well-known actors that we all hate. Andrew Garfield is a flatline. He doesn't know how to play Peter Parker. He plays him dumb at times, confused at times, and he's supposed to be a super intelligent scientist guy. He's supposed to be a skateboarder. He's supposed to be 26 different things, all wrapped up in a...
And a photographer.
And a photographer as well, yeah, all wrapped up in a dumb expression on his face. And the main bad guy, who's played by James Spader, is completely boring and uninteresting.
You're leaving out one. The best part of the movie, for me, the most enjoyable aspect of the movie was Dennis Leary.
Oh yeah, he did a good job.
He did a great job. I saw Spider-Man, but now I want to see a movie starring Dennis Leary called Cop Dad.
Cop Dad.
I want to see Cop Dad.
So you fucked up Hollywood again. But you'll still make tons of money. So we're the assholes sitting in the back of a comic book shop complaining about the movie that you're going to make tons of money on. Well, we can't pay our rent or bills. Yeah, it's them pretending to understand the material, but not really understanding the material. It's like all these fucking soulless producers and hack writers. And, oh yeah, Spider-Man's about characters and this and that, and it's gonna enthrall you and excite you, and you're gonna feel the emotion and blah 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 blah. And then really they're just like product,
Yeah.
money, product, and then they all these like soulless, horrible hacks all get together and they shove all this shit into something, and then they take a dump.
Well, sometimes it fools people, and sometimes it's more noticeable. And this is one where this is just such a joyless experience watching this movie. It doesn't feel like there's any passion behind it at all.
Well, it's also on the flip side of that coin. It's them not getting that Amazing Spider-Man should be a colorful, fun experience, and then it's like the flip side of that coin is the Joel Schumacher going, Batman needs to have colors.
Yeah.
Comic books are colors. What's the quote by him?
Oh, they're called comic books, not drama books.
Right, and you're like, that's not Batman.
Yeah.
Batman is not colorful. Batman is dark and moody, and there's this like core conflict in Batman, and it's not colorful. That's wrong. Spider-Man is colorful.
Yeah.
And it's not dark and moody and conflicting. You know, he has relationship problems and that sort of stuff, but it really should be lighthearted and fun and adventurous. And this is not.
And corny. It's okay to be corny sometimes.
Right.
I think the Sam Raimi movies are wonderful.
Do you appreciate the Sam Raimi?
I appreciate them a lot more now.
Do you appreciate Tobey Maguire more?
Yes, more. I'm still not completely sold on Tobey Maguire as Peter Parker, but I have less problems than I did
Well,
before.
we have a surprise for you because Tobey Maguire is here.
Where?
Oh, I don't think he ever was here.
Tell us a little bit about yourself, Mr. Parker. What does your father do, Peter?
I never really knew my father. My parents left when I was very young.
Peter, someday you'll understand.
It's a forgettable Spider-Man movie, and there'll be another one. So who gives a fuck if it's bad? It's completely
Certainly not
disposable.
the people counting the money.
Yeah, but it's also like this problem now of like chucking your wad too much, where you can't do this too often. You can't remake things so quickly and then fuck them up and then try it again, and then it's just the audience has a breaking point.
Sure.
Where we're just gonna go, stop. Like, we want original stories. We
Are
want original
you
material.
overestimating the audience?
I
People like
think-
us, they don't give a shit about us.
No.
People who care.
I know, but I will give an audience some credit. Like, imagine if they rebooted this next year.
Yeah. Another Spider-Man.
It's in one of my classes at school, there was a budget thing, a breakdown, and it was the Police Academy movies. And it was called the Police Academy Equation.
Okay.
And it was Police Academy 1, and it showed budget to profit ratio. Police Academy 1, budget to profit.
Sure.
Police Academy 2, budget to profit. Police Academy 3,
Yeah.
etc., 4, 5, 6, done.
Yeah.
And I think that's sort of, I think that's what will happen with all these remakes, is that if you keep rehashing the same story and the same shit and all these movies over and over again, you can get away with it for so long before it stops.
On a completely unrelated note, they're working on a remake of Police Academy.
This is the most explosive adventure ever faced by the world's most amazing superhero.
Yeah, if they remade Spider-Man next year and they called it, what's another Spider-Man title?
A spectacular,
Spectacular Spider-Man.
ultimate.
And I think people would groan and go, oh.
That's the ultimate irony, is that the more exciting the adjective, the worse the movie's gonna get.
Yeah.
Well, the first one, Spider-Man. Spider-Man. Oh, this is great. The Amazing Spider-Man. Spectacular Spider-Man. Oh, fuck this.
The actual title is The Spectacular Spider-Man, parenthetical, trust us. It'll work this time. No, but we're coming up on our third remake of, our third incarnation of Superman.
Yeah.
Now, the Zack Snyder Superman, where the 70s one with Christopher Reeve worked great, you know, except for the fourth one and some of the third ones.
Well, that's the case where each movie gets worse.
Yeah. But the Christopher Reeve one was an iconic one, and then they remade it and they fucked it up.
Yeah.
And then now they're remaking it again. So I think, like, for me, when they say the Superman's coming out, I'll be like,
again?
like, it was a big deal when they remade it because it hasn't been made since 1978.
Yeah.
All the wow, Superman's back. It's like all the steam has been let out of the engine.
Here's a question for you. Now with the Christopher Nolan Batman coming to an end, since those movies were really successful,
they're remaking them.
Yeah, how long is it going to take? They're already working on.
They're already
Batman.
working on it. Yeah.
Okay.
Got to keep
No,
that
it's already
money train
in
going.
because Christopher Nolan says I'm not doing anymore.
Yeah.
So they're like, well, Batman is a moneymaker. We can't just stop. We have to continue on. And
So they're not even going to wait a respectful 5 years this time.
Why
Yeah.
wait?
Yeah.
Why wait? It's everything speeds up and everything becomes more disposable, and that's what I'm talking about. That thing. There's a term in science called the carrying capacity. I remember this from science class. It's how much the Earth can sustain of populations before it reaches a point where people start starving to death and dying, and then it resets itself. And I think that's what we're getting to. We're at the peak of the carrying capacity of movies and ideas, where it's like faster and faster and faster and faster and faster. We can't sustain it, and then it crashes.
I can't wait till we get to that point.
I know.
I can't wait. We should say that there are movies like this around that are still made. They're just not the big tentpole movies.
Can we squeeze in a little review of Moonrise Kingdom?
I would love to squeeze in a tiny little review of Moonrise Kingdom. We won't discuss it too much because I'm guessing you haven't seen it. Moonrise Kingdom is the best movie I've seen all year.
You should watch that instead of The Amazing Spider-Man. You will get a more emotional experience out of it.
Yeah.
You will get a more satisfying movie experience.
It's more visually engaging.
And it has better special effects. Well, no, it doesn't. But it's a great movie. And I'm sure there's a lot of our audience that hate Wes Anderson because they think he's a snobby hipster type.
I would say this is one of his more accessible movies.
I wouldn't say I'm on the fence with Wes Anderson. There's only been one thing of his that I haven't liked, and I didn't give it past 5 minutes. I started watching the Royal Tenenbaums, and I saw Ben Stiller, and he has two twins, and they're all dressed in the same red jumpsuit. And I just said, fuck this movie, and I shut it off.
You're missing out.
But I love the Life Aquatic.
Life Aquatic's good,
I love Darjeeling Limited. Those are really, really good movies.
Yeah. And
Moonrise Kingdom fits right in. It was a little slow at first, but then all the characters that they set up really pay off, and it's really charming. It's about innocence.
Yeah.
And of innocence, love, and how that reflects on adulthood and the cynicism of adulthood, and it kind of opens everyone's eyes, and it's a really simple story, and it's really really nice movie. So after watching Amazing Spider-Man, that's a masterpiece.
I like that part in The Amazing Spider-Man when Spider-Man kicks the Lizard Man.
Don't you mean Moonrise Kingdom? That scene happened in Moonrise Kingdom.
I don't remember that. Is that pussy little hipster Wes Anderson movie?
Yeah.
Fuck that.
That guy's a douchebag.
That guy's a douchebag because he makes movies with heart and soul. I'd rather see a cynical cash grab like The Amazing Spider-Man.
Well, I guess it's time to get going.
Yep, we gotta get back to the VCR repair shop.
Oh, so you're both VCR repairmen?
Yes.
Interesting. Why don't you two just hold on for one moment? I have to make an unrelated phone call. Okay? Just stay right there.
All right.
Okay?
Yeah,
okay, good.
Well, there was nothing suspicious about his extremely suspicious behavior.
Oh.
Yeah, it's them. Right. Yeah, it's definitely them. They're sitting right here behind me.
over his shoulder?
I don't know. Maybe he's trying to, think of what we might want on the pizza. Because I'm assuming he's ordering a pizza based on him.
Well,
you know.
Yeah.
No, they're very dumb or very drunk. They think I'm ordering a pizza. They can clearly hear me talking about them. No, they're really dumb. It's gotta be them. Uh-huh.
Oh my God, Jay.
What?
I think he might be part of the conspiracy against us. Oh shit. We gotta get out of here.
Yeah.
Or we gotta take him out. The Klingon phaser. Quickly, use it.
Ow, my back!
Oh, I think that one's stun. I think the top one's kill.
Oh, okay. Oh, sure, go for it.
Thank
It's
you.
fun. Yeah.
It's good to share. You wanna do some more?
I'll do a couple more, yeah. And then we should probably get going.
Yeah.